We are finally within the last week of the campaign season. Tuesday next week, this is all coming to more or less an end. Most of the states will be voting. Then we can all cry about some mail-in ballots that weren't taken in, and how the Supreme Court is just going to side with Trump no matter what, because they are terrible human beings. But until we get there, we can meme around until that bridge collapses under our feet and we fall into the river with freezing cold temperatures and maybe receive hypothermia. Hypothermia, which is exactly what some Trump supporters got last night in Omaha, Nebraska. Now, let me tell you the story, okay? Last night, Omaha, Nebraska. Mind you, Nebraska is split up into 3 congressional districts. The first, the third, and what I believe is the one that we're talking about is the second. The congressional district is 1 electoral vote. 1. This tells you a whole lot about Trump's re-election campaign strategy, that he is now fiending. He is now fighting for scraps. Literally, what the least amount of votes that you could possibly get. Omaha, Nebraska, which is 1 electoral vote. So he had a campaign there, and then he got up into Marine One, which is the helicopter, and just kind of zipped away, gone. All right. The problem is that of how those people got to his rally in the first place. It was held at a airport, Eppley Airfield, right next to Iowa. So this is Iowa, I believe, in the Missouri River going across. So it was held at this airport. People's cars weren't until like Crater Lake. What happened is that the Trump administration, the Trump campaign, spent money busing these people from their car to the airport. And mind you, there's no place to park between the 3 miles that is between the parking spots and the campaign destination. So they bought 40 buses and they bussed all those people out there. The problem was the Trump campaign didn't pay them to bus the people back. He kind of forgot the second half of the trip there, and it is no more exemplary of how Donald Trump thinks of the people, just generally human beings, than to bust them out in freezing cold temperatures, hold a rally where they're all like coughing down each other's throats and spreading COVID, playing hacky sack with COVID, having a fun time with elderly people there, and then just up and leaving with no way for these people to get back. Mind you, it is almost winter. It is the latter half of fall, winter time. And what happened is that the police had to get called in, paramedics had to get called in, they had to go find buses to go bring these people back to their cars. Some people were walking. It was like a scene in The Walking Dead with there's no electricity, nothing. I can show you some pictures of what was going on. And then again, the Trump administration lied about it, how many people were there. They said like 25,000 people were there. About 6,000 were there. And you could take a look at all these people just standing around, dumbfounded. Trump signs in hand, hats on head, gloves on, just standing around. People's legs are starting to fall asleep because they've been standing around for so long with absolutely no way to get back home. It's kind of funny. Like, we say that the Trump administration, the Trumpists have become a death cult. This is a death cult, and the wildest part is that they're most likely still going to vote for him anyways after he literally left them out to die. A Trump campaign rally has unironically turned into a survival mission. You see Trump, he waves, he does his little dance that he does on stage while he plays some copyrighted music that he's going to get a lawsuit for in the following day when the artist finds out that they actually played it there. He zips away in his freaking helicopter, that's probably with heated seats and everything, best, most fortified helicopter in the entire world. And then they're sitting there, dick in their hand, like, how do I go home? And they don't know. It's wild to me. This is like an abusive relationship, and they're just vibing with it too. People just started to walk. People started to walk the couple miles home. It ended around 8:45 p.m. It was 32 degrees out, and people they're just walking. They're just like They're standing there. They're wondering if the bus will come. It won't. None of the buses came. The police had to come in and help people out. Not only that, once again, like I said, there were elderly people there. There were old people there. And because of that, lots of them were actually starting to suffer from hypothermia. One officer advising 8 to 9 elderly people who are struggling. Separate officer of advising they have located an elderly party who is frozen cold and unable to move with altered mental state. They are starting to their bodies were starting to shut down because they were in the cold for that long. They were literally just dying. Yeah, not only that, they also found a couple of old people who are trying to walk home, just doing anything they can to get back to their car, because if they stay there, they'll just die. Yes, they're snowflakes. Oh, it's terrible. Okay, chill out. It's terrible. But there was an old guy who was walking down the street, and he had trouble breathing. They had to pick him up. There were about 7 people who had to go to the hospital because of hypothermia as well, and 30 people in total who needed medical attention. And another officer advising they have an elderly male down. He just collapsed. 8 to 9 are stuck in the south. And at the end of the day, at around 12:30 p.m., they finally were able to get everyone back to their car, or some to taken to the hospital because they couldn't make it. And that ended Trump's first day of the last week of his campaign trail. There's no way people are actually still going to vote for him, right? Oh, they will. Don't worry. Like I said, death cult. It is a death cult. Yes, they will still vote for him. Now, thankfully, Omaha, Nebraska, with its, remind you, this is all for one electoral vote, for his one vote, most likely is not going to be given to Donald Trump. They are trending very heavily in the way of Joe Biden. And right now, it is far too late for any drastic changes to change that route. Lots of people have already voted. And the people who were already sick enough to vote for Trump are probably already voted and or won't have their minds changed by this. But just the general apathy for human life is just astounding. When you go to these people and you ask them that Trump loves America and he cares about all Americans and he'll do this and he'll do that and he's protecting us and he's on our side, as he flies away as people freeze to death, doesn't tell you any more than that you need to know about what this guy thinks. Their political usefulness was used up. He didn't care anymore. He got his pictures, he got his photo shoots, he got his videos, he got the campaign messages, and they could die for all he cares. Literally, they could die. So that wraps up the first day of Trump's last week campaigning, and it couldn't have gone almost any worse, unless a couple of people died. But I guess we'll find out in the next few days if everybody recovers.